Brian, you have been officially appointed as the Rochdale manager on a 2-year contract. How does it feel to be manager of this great club?
It's humbling, really, as well. Last couple of days have gone along quite quickly, and after Saturday's game, the board asked to speak to me and intimated they wanted to make this appointment more permanent, and it just kind of felt right. I thought it was a good time to do it, and once I knew they were happy to do it. And all the supporters I've spoken to seem to be very keen to progress along those lines as well, so it was hugely reassuring, really, and very exciting for myself moving forward.
I know when we first spoke, when you were put in temporary charge, it came as quite a shock to you, but as the weeks progressed, did that position as manager as such become quite natural for you?
Yeah, I spoke to you previously about how difficult it was because of my friends were kind of leaving their jobs as such, and the first few days were kind of traumatic in those ways. But yeah, since the training really has become second nature, and I felt very comfortable doing the job and leading the group of guys and representing the club. Really, it just felt kind of a natural progression for me, and that gave me huge confidence in myself, I suppose, and in sync with the players, and that we could push on together and really make something successful and something special going forward. So it's felt right from day one, and I'm just grateful to be given the opportunity really by every other club.
You're 40 years old now, you'll still be classed as a very young manager, but you spoke about there the timing being right. Did you see this as the next step in your career? Did it make sense for you to become manager of Rochdale Football Club? Yeah,
it did. I hadn't any great master plan as regards becoming a manager in a certain period of time. I've been just learning and trying to do my best for the club over a period of time. This opportunity kind of presented itself out of the blue, really, mainly through to my colleagues and my friends losing their jobs. So again, that initial period was difficult, but they provided me huge reassurance that they believe I can do the job, and I believe I can myself. I know I can do the job very, very well. So it's a very exciting time for myself, and I just feel very, very grateful to everybody really for the opportunity to do it.
Have you spoken to Keith and Chris over the last few days since you were offered the job on a permanent basis? We would be like in regular contact. Obviously it's a bit of a whirlwind, so kind of the last couple of days have been hard to speak to anybody really, and I've been trying to focus on the game coming up on Saturday. So I'm quite good at switching off from things and just focusing on the games, because I've been in that role for a long period of time, and I've always kind of put myself in the mindset of the players and try and understand what they're feeling. And they were just recovering from a difficult game at Gillingham, and the quick turnaround in terms of in a player's mind, you want to focus on something really, really quickly. So I just wanted to give them as much preparation, and as much time as possible to start preparing for Saturday's game. So we've been focused on that really as a group of players, and I've tried to look after the other side of things separately from that. You've made it clear in every interview you've done today that you will not be appointing an assistant manager. Can you tell us a little bit more about that decision? Yeah, I mean, it's not as big as I've made out, I don't think. I think initially there's great continuity at the club at the moment. We've got Tony Ellis, who's always been involved with the first team on match days, and he's the head of the academy, so he's provided a great link between our younger players who we value so much coming through the different age groups, and when they come into our environment, he's a familiar face and he knows those players and set out to continue their development and help out with obvious first team duties. So I just thought to make someone an assistant manager just for the sake of it just wouldn't be right, and I don't want to disrupt what we've got going on at the moment. Anyway, it's something that we'll revisit in the summer and fine tune it then. But we've been very lucky. Lee Riley stepped up from the academy at a time when he was coveted by a number of Premier League clubs really in the academy. So we've been fortunate. I've been able to keep him here and bring him into our environment, because I know how good he is at working with all levels of players. He's got that unique insight of, again, having worked with a lot of our younger members of the squad, so they've got that bond, but equally challenging for himself and rewarding for the players that he's been able to put his ideas onto all the members of the squad, and they've been amazingly receptive to that. So I feel as if there's a good balance in the staff, and Steve Collish remains the goalkeeping coach, again, exceptional guy. And Callum Jones is there, and Ross, and the medical team is the same. So I just didn't see any big point in disrupting all that for my own selfish reasons. I wanted to wait till the summer and we can fine tune it. But at Rochdale we have had a manager, an assistant manager, and a first team coach. I was first team coach, but to the outside world it may have looked like, but it was always Keith leading the whole club and leading the group, and then we all worked under him. But again, within that there was like Chris was of a more advanced level than I was at that stage of his career, and he held me out. But we've always been a team behind that, and I believe in I can lead everybody at the club. I know that, but beneath me there will be
the most specific and best people for their jobs, and we'll all come together and be a team below that. And that's always been my vision, and I believe that works, and I know it does work.
I think you said it was something as well you'd experienced earlier in your career, well, under David Moyes.
Yeah. I think a lot of the guys, had that structure, and again, it just leads to a real sense of teamwork, and everybody pulling together and trying to produce the best for everybody, really. So the staff produce the best type of work for the players, and the players produce the best type of work for the supporters and the board of directors, and it's all interlinked, really. And we played Tottenham in the FA Cup last year, and we received loads of feedback from their structure, and they had the exact same thing, a manager, and the rest of it was just teamwork underneath them, and they're like exceptional group of people. So it just kind of confirmed me what I always believed in, and that's what I believe in, and that's what I go with.
You've said often over the last few weeks that you've changed very little since you've come into this position. What do you see you changing going forward?
I suppose going forward, I think the players have been incredible in their application to what I've asked them to do, and I've always believed in the training ground as kind of being the hub of everything that we do, and the work that we put in there is sacrosanct, really. And we've put in really good effort and real hard yards on the training ground, and going forward, that's all I demand of the players every day, is just that performance level, that intensity has to be of that level every day, because the minute you lose that, you kind of lose what you're about. And as I've alluded to in previous interviews, we're a club who has to punch above our weight, in theory, because of our budgets, our support base and all that kind of stuff. But within the dressing room, that becomes irrelevant, because we're all really ambitious, competitive guys, and once we play against any perceived bigger teams, we know we're as good as them, and we can be as good as them on any given day. But to get to that level, you have to produce training performance on a daily basis that allow you to get to that level. So going forward, that's all I'm focused on, really, is just continuing that and challenging the players to become more consistent, because we haven't been consistent over a period of time of the last 2 years, and that's been the major problem within our group. Is we've had sporadic performances of a high level, but we haven't been able to reproduce it on a consistent level, and the challenge for us is to produce that consistent run of performances, and I'm certain that results follow them. But I know this group of players is of an exceptional standard, and my challenge is to get the best out of them, and I can do that.
Do you believe, hopefully, we've seen the start of that type of consistency, given that we've gone 4 unbeaten?
Yeah, I think I've seen the consistency in the players' training levels as being exceptional, and I suppose from my own point of view, it was very beneficial to get results in the first couple of games to kind of back up that. I've spoken to you previously about that, but my views on how we train and how we play wouldn't have changed anyway, irrespective of results. It's good for the players' minds to see that the effort that they put in training is being rewarded on a match day, and when the inevitable results don't go our way, which they will, and they will in the coming weeks, we'll definitely lose games. And it's just about how we behave and how we respond to those setbacks within games and in matches. And we've conceded goals, even in these last couple of games. We've conceded goals, and our reactions have been really good. And the next level of that is to have even stronger reactions and stronger behavioural traits when we lose games, and we will do. You know.
Have you had the opportunity to speak to the players yet about your appointment?
Yeah, I spoke to them briefly yesterday. Just I wanted to kind of brief them that things might be changing in theory, but nothing changes from their point of view. We had a game yesterday. We had training yesterday morning and a game at lunchtime. So we're busy on the preparation front, and the players are really excited. They're behind me, but you know, I'll be continuing to push them hard and really demand from them in training. And I think they enjoy that, and they thrive in it, and we just hope that we can continue that on a daily basis.
You mentioned the game. It was another behind closed doors game yesterday. Has that proved beneficial? Yeah,
a huge part of our group is that the younger players coming through play with some of the experienced players in all these games, and we've always had that plan where we play consistent games against different oppositions, different levels of oppositions, to give the players different problems and different areas of development, really. And yesterday's game was very beneficial. It gives us a chance to get some players some minutes, and some of the younger players again some time to develop their games in all different aspects, and it was very beneficial, and it leads us into the weekend nicely, where we've got everybody kind of bubbling up and ready to go, and no real injuries as such, and everyone's kind of keen to crack on again.
Moving on to the weekend at Sunderland, here at home for your first official game in charge as permanent manager. It's an exciting fixture to get started, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a huge game for the club, and it's a great day for all our supporters and everybody connected with the club. I think it's kind of symbolic really of what I've kind of believed we always were as a club, kind of going up against one of the bigger teams, and we've had some amazing days at our own ground and away at different grounds against the giants of this division. And I think the feedback I've been getting from the supporters around the town is like these are the games that they love, and they just want to see their team represent what they are on any given day. And we'll be going to try and play the way we've been playing over the last 3 or 4 games, and just trying to put our imprint on the game and try and cause them as many problems as we can, and just being true to ourselves really. And again, irrespective of result, we'll be desperate to win, and our lads will be thriving to win really, and do everything we can to win. But I think it's imperative that we perform the way that we want to perform, and leave everybody proud going home on Saturday evening. I think we will.
Sunderland, of course, take on Accrington Stanley tonight at Accrington. They're their next 2 opponents. We have the opportunity to take that game in.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there to see that game, of course. Me and my staff will be there. I think it's 2 very big teams. Obviously, that'll be an intriguing game tonight from my own point of view for a lot of different reasons. But it's a great chance to see 2 teams in what will be 2 really difficult games for us coming up. But 2 very, very exciting games. I mean, a game against Sunderland obviously goes without saying is going to whet the players' appetites, and Accrington Stanley in the local derby on Tuesday night is a unique occasion, and one that our players will be really excited about. It's two very, very good games going on.
Just looking further ahead, the games are fast running out. The season is almost over. Looking ahead to recruitment changes in the summer, will your work start immediately on that? Looking at what you want to implement going forward?
On recruitment, my work would have started a long time ago. I was heavily involved in recruitment with Keith and Chris, so we would have stuff in place already anyway. So it's just obviously I'm kind of making more of the decisions now probably. So that's all in place, and our pre-season plans are all in place. So everything's planned, and we're fine on that front. I suppose one of the major benefits of taking this job at this time is that I believe we still have a core group of players that are hugely exciting moving forward, and give the club, should give everyone associated with the club a great sense of hope and excitement, I believe, irrespective of what division we're in. And we'll be doing everything we can every day to make sure that we retain our League One status. But if we can't, then we can't. And we've still got the same group of players that will provide a very exciting summer for the supporters, and going into next season I think a lot of hope and something to be proud of.
7 games to go, 6 this month. Would you encourage supporters to really get behind the team during these vital games? Because of course we still have a huge opportunity to stay up, particularly after Saturday's result. It's closed it right in now. Many teams on the same points down there.
Obviously I would. I don't think I need to really. I saw we had unbelievable support in Gillingham. It's one of the hardest trips I know for our supporters, and our players were blown away by the constant support during the game of such a small group really. And we went to see the supporters after the game, and there was something I took from it, was like we could have lost that game at any stage of the second half because Gillingham were a very good side, but I think irrespective of that, the supporters saw that the players were willing to die for the cause really on the day, and put their bodies on the line, and I got the impression that they would have been forgiving of anything that had gone wrong within the game as long as the effort was there, and the players acknowledged that, and I think it was quite important for them to see, no matter what happened in the next block of games or till the end of the season, as long as they put in that effort, I think the supporters will get behind them, and that's always what we've been about, and I think it's imperative that continues really.